we don't have one sun. We have two suns, the one we see in the sky, and the second one is really the molten core of the Earth that is 3,500 kilometers under our feet. So the core of the Earth is the source of geothermal. It continuously radiates heat through the globe and into space. And when we are harnessing geothermal, we are capturing this heat that is escaping from the core.
Sinopec Green Energy is a joint venture with China's largest oil and gas company called Sinopec and the Arctic Green Energy, the Icelandic-based geothermal company. So we are providing clean geothermal energy to more than 3.5 million populations here in China. Since establishment, the company has reduced greenhouse gas emissions by over 20 million tons.
We are probably living through the most severe energy crisis since the Second World War. Traditional energy resources is constrained by geopolitics and by energy security considerations. It's subject to economic sanctions, it's subject to geographical constraints, and many countries, as a result of this, facing severe disruption of their economies, have started to look at what renewable energy can provide. And it's in that context, I think, that we are going to see the rise of geothermal energy.
What started as a success story in Iceland has become a success story in China, and now we are branching out to other countries to teach them how geothermal can transform the quality of life of people, as it did in Iceland. You know, prior to World War II, I think we were the poorest country in Europe per capita, or one of the poorest. And there was never really any master plan to harness geothermal, never any decarbonization plan. It was simply that we could not afford the import of the fossil fuels. So we learned how to harness our geothermal resources. And it was done, you know, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood. And today, close to 100% of primary energy from renewables, it's either hydropower or geothermal. We can do this quite profitably by drilling into 2 or 3 kilometers depth. We typically get hot brine from those wells, and we can generate heating, cooling, or electricity. And then we take the brine that we have took out of the ground and we re-inject it back into the ground. And you heat or cool whole cities with this.
Geothermal energy has a very sweet spot in the energy transition. We can do electricity, but there are parts of the energy matrix that are not addressed by electricity. Heating and cooling is a big part of that. I live in Abu Dhabi. It's an energy-rich country, but during the summer, when we have high temperatures, sometimes going up well above 45, sometimes up to 50 degrees Celsius, life becomes unlivable unless you have cooling. 70% of energy during the summer in the UAE is utilized for cooling. How do you electrify cooling? It's a difficult issue. We don't have storage technologies at scale and cost yet that can get us there. But geothermal, especially mid-temperature geothermal, provides a really extraordinary potential for that to happen.
What most people don't realize is that heating and cooling is more than half of global total energy usage. And the decarbonization of the heating sector has been left behind, while renewables have made very good inroads into electricity generation. So when we use geothermal energy, we don't have to make electricity as an intermediary energy to heat and cool. We can use geothermal at lower temperature than is needed to make electricity. And it has been proven on a massive scale here in China that this is the best available solution for decarbonizing heating and cooling systems.
Now, when you take hot water from a hydrothermal, geothermal reservoir and bring it up to the surface, you can either use it through heat exchangers as a direct way of transferring heat into district heating systems. Very simple, very straightforward. Or you can use it for cooling. And the way you use it for cooling is, think about a refrigerator. If you put your hand at the back of the refrigerator, that's hot. The heat is going out, and through technologies that are now available, which have absorption chillers or gas compression, you can extract cooling from that same energy and use that cooling for air conditioning, refrigeration, and so on. So the technologies are available. They've been known for years. And what people forget is that geothermal is not a new thing. There were Roman baths that were geothermal. The Japanese onsen have been using geothermal for ages, both for bathing, for heating, and so on. What is different now is that we have the technologies that are available to use that energy that's coming from geothermal in direct use applications for heating and cooling and greenhouses, fish farms around the world. That's transformative.
One myth is that this can only be done in a country that is very volcanic, like Iceland. But it can be done anywhere. The only question is how much of the energy needs we can solve from location to location. So to educate decision makers about what can be done with geothermal, that really has maybe been the biggest hurdle. There are other hurdles, like the knowledge barrier is very, very high in geothermal. It's relatively easy to set up a solar or wind installment because you have equipment that you can simply bring to the site and you set it up. But in geothermal, you have to do a lot of subsurface studies. But once you have it set up, it continues to generate clean energy decades into the future. As a matter of fact, the oldest hydrothermal well in constant use in Iceland is over 110 years old and is still going strong.
For gas, you have volatility in gas prices. You have to establish a stable rate for consumers, but you have volatility of supply, which means that every time the price is higher than the rate allows, the government actually has to subsidize. So it costs the government to utilize these fuels. Geothermal is stable. It's stable for decades. You establish a rate. If you link it to inflation, it's a rate that you'll have forever. For consumers, that's great news. For companies, that's wonderful because you can map your revenue over decades without any volatility and be able to plan around that. So Saudi Arabia is one. Hungary is another one. Hungary has excellent resources. There are discussions with a number of cities. A number of mega factories are being established in Hungary. Hungary is also at the epicenter of the energy crisis that has stemmed from the Ukraine war and the sanctions on Russian oil and gas. They are energy poor at a time when they're looking for economic growth, and geothermal makes sense for them.
This massive size of the central heating system of China, close to 90% of these systems is still using combustion of fossil fuels. So what we are doing, we are not only serving new buildings, but we are also gradually replacing the energy source of the existing heating systems. It's a big priority here to reduce dependency on gas. And gas prices are very, very sensitive to what's happening in the global arena, whereas geothermal has complete price stability. And this is always domestic energy, so it's never ever reliant on energy logistics.
We have 80 cities that are covered now, major new facilities, new high-speed, ultra-modern train stations are heated with geothermal. Millions of consumers are now having clean heating from geothermal. And for China, it's been a huge asset because the air is much cleaner, it is breathable, and we're moving into an era of something that Volker, who's the founder of this company, calls breathing cities. Cities that are clean, that have clean air, that can breathe, and are based on clean energy.
Iceland is still, in terms of technology and mentality and understanding geothermal, is still the champion, in my opinion. Because I keep looking at what geothermal can be done. For example, if you're looking at the new facilities, not only the power production, they're also going into carbon sequestration and also their air capture and getting geothermal in multiple uses. And going back to what China has been learning from Iceland is in heating and cooling. But in terms of technology in the power production, Iceland technology is still quite dominant. They have a very sophisticated system, but still running in the highest efficiency. So that is also the reason to keep this collaboration going forward.
I believe it was in 2002 that the then president of China, Jiang Zemin, went on a state visit to Iceland, where he was hosted by our president, Ólafur Ragnar Grímsson. And during this visit, our president took his Chinese guest to see the geothermal infrastructure of Iceland. And that's really how the ball started to roll. This led to a government-to-government cooperation. We have been working together for 20 years now. This year is the 20th anniversary of this cooperation.
I would say time is a friend, 20 years. The partnership is very much focused on solving the problems, can we possibly provide better solutions to the local residents. We are creating a very clean society and people growing. I would say the company is celebrating 20 years of birthday. If it's a person, it's a 20, is going to the college, and that person is growing up, breathing this clean air and understand what is going on. So it's very different from when I grew up. In my memory, the winter has always been like misty and foggy, and now it's different in the places we've been. So the 20-year collaboration is of great value for people.
You know, they say the fuel of today is oil and gas. The fuel of tomorrow is innovation and technology. That's exciting because everybody's a participant in that. Individuals, companies, and governments. It's distributed, it's democratic. You can have some level of independence and autonomy, addresses energy security, which is a critical constraint in the global economy today, and it provides a very positive economic future based on clean energy that can take us to a safe place on climate change.
Geothermal heating and cooling is the world's next energy revolution. If you think about it, every city, every town, every village needs to decarbonize their heating and cooling systems over the next decades. So the size of the opportunity is, let's say, the opportunity over the next few decades is probably tens of trillions of dollars, because heating and cooling is more of half of global energy usage. It not only beats the fossil fuels environmentally, but also economically.
I was the CEO of COP28. We were doing the first stocktake at COP28 of the Paris Agreement and the commitments made by countries. Our slogan in COP28 was, let's keep 1.5 alive. And we were very successful in one thing, which was to frontally address what the energy transition would be, agree globally, including the United States, on the need to transition away from fossil fuels. Major oil-producing countries agreed to this, and a suite of issues that were involved in the energy transition, which countries took on board as a kind of template. So we have that, but my concern is that we're already either at or above 1.5. We're moving towards 2 degrees temperature change, which is already pretty catastrophic for some areas of the world. The speed of that increase needs to be addressed as quickly as possible. We have the tools in our hands to do it. My concern is whether the wisdom or the political will exists to make it happen. My confidence is that investors and consumers and individuals see the value of this and have started to move fast. I think it's touch and go, but I'm an optimist and I believe we can do it.